This is the territory of the German border region in the interwar period from 1919 to 1939. This is just inside Germany, sorry, it's now in Poland. It was just inside Germany. And the place I'm going to now is I'm looking for the fortifications which were built largely in the 1920s and 1930s. At the end of the First World War, the German border with the east was pushed back considerably in what came to be known as the Polish Corridor. Now, the former area of what came in the Second World War would be called the Warthegau. It wasn't called that before the First World War. Was taken from Germany, given to Poland. Now, the population was to a large extent, obviously, Polish. I don't think that was disputed. The largest town in the area is, of course, Poznan. Now, the border was somewhere before the war. It was somewhere to approximately 100 kilometers to the east of Poznan, and it was pushed back to here, which is about 70 kilometers to the west of Poznan. Obviously, this brought the Polish border somewhat close to Berlin. And therefore a defensive line was built, and the League of Nations had forbidden Germany to do things like this, and when it found out that Germany was building defensive lines, it told it to stop doing that immediately, which of course Germany did. And well, then it started again though, didn't it, when people didn't really notice. And this is going on in the 20s. This is before the Nazis came to power. And after the attack on Poland, the line became totally it was undefended, useless, and there was no real point in it until towards the end of 1944, when Guderian, I think it was, started to bring up the subject of improving the defence lines on Germany's eastern border. And this obviously produced with Hitler the usual reaction he got to anything: don't build defence lines to the rear. It'll only give generals the excuse to withdraw there on the first opportunity. Now, Hitler often used this as a reason, is that as soon as you build a defence line, you want to retreat to it. And then it gets breached, and you want to retreat to the next one. This was part of Hitler's absurd mentality, the way he was thinking. The reason the defence lines were constantly breached, no matter where they were, if they were on the Dnieper River or further back or whatever, they were breached because they weren't prepared properly. And the defence in depth, which could have been a good way of working, was not allowed to work at all. And what happened here was something very, very similar. On January the 10th, 1945, the Soviets crossed the Vistula in places and broke out of the two bridgeheads they had over the Vistula River. In a very short time, they arrived here. In fact, they got over the Oder River on the 31st of January. Within 3 weeks, they advanced 600 kilometers and across the Oder River. Here, they could have been held up. The German armies were totally destroyed in Poland and in the other parts of eastern Germany, and the Soviets just steamrolled through here. Here they were held up for approximately 3 days only, using very little resources that the Germans then had. Effectively, the Russians just ploughed their way through here. The defence line, the second strongest defence line in the world, Maginot Line I think being the first. I think this one was stronger than the Westwall, but against France. But even so, it's either the second or the third strongest defence line in the world, and it absolutely served no purpose whatsoever. And I'm going to see if I can find it now.